is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, first, Ukraine signals optimism as Vladimir Zelensky hails substantive Geneva talks, saying that U.S. President Donald Trump's negotiating team hears Ukraine's position on Washington's peace plan. From Washington, Trump says his 28-point proposal to end the war is not his final offer, adding that Zelensky can continue to fight if no agreement is struck. At the G20, world leaders wrap up 2 days of high-level talks in South Africa, reaffirming their commitment to multilateral cooperation. Tensions between the United States and Venezuela elevate to dangerous heights. Multiple international airlines cancel flights to and from Venezuela after a U.S. advisory in the country's airspace. Back in the Philippines, pressure mounts as calls intensify for President Bongbong Marcos Jr. to undergo a hair follicle drug test. This comes amid growing public scrutiny over suspects in the flood control anomaly. In Japan, the country's tourism industry takes a huge hit as thousands of hotel bookings from Chinese tourists are cancelled nationwide, a direct result of the escalating diplomatic friction between Tokyo and Beijing. And in the world of sports, England rugby survives a late surge from Argentina at Twickenham, securing an 11th straight win and capping off a perfect 4-test autumn run. I'm Prince Tripoli. Newsline World starts now. President Vladimir Zelensky says Ukraine is seeing encouraging signals from Washington following substantive peace talks in Geneva and the controversial U.S. draft plan to end the war. Daniela Paulita has the details.
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said the Geneva discussions between U.S., EU, and Ukrainian officials were meaningful, noting that a lot is changing. As negotiators refine steps toward ending the war, he welcomed what he described as signals that President Donald Trump's team is receptive to Kiev's concerns, adding that diplomacy has been reinvigorated.
І є сигнали, що команда президента Трампа чує нас. Дипломатія активізована – це добре. Дуже добре. Ми розраховуємо, що результатом будуть правильні кроки. Перший пріоритет – це надійний мир, гарантована безпека, повага до наших людей, повага до кожного, хто віддав своє життя, захищаючи Україну.
The talks continue as unease grows over key elements of Trump's proposed 28-point peace plan, including reported requirements for Ukraine to cede territory, slash the size of its armed forces, and grant the U.S. a 50% share in reconstruction profits. These conditions have raised alarms in Kiev and across Europe. Russian President Vladimir Putin confirmed reviewing the proposal and said Moscow is ready for negotiations, but only after a detailed discussion of its terms. EU and British officials are now pushing for revisions to ensure European security interests are incorporated, criticizing their limited role in the plan's early drafting. Reporting for Newsline World, Daniela Paulita, SMNI News.
The escalating tensions between China and Japan is now hitting Japan's tourism industry hard as mass cancellations sweep across the country where thousands of hotel bookings were abruptly canceled in just a few days. Almar Fusuelo for the details.
The worsening tension between China and Japan has had a serious impact on several business owners in the country as they now experience mass cancellations. The tension began after Prime Minister Takaichi's statement on November 7 that Japan could respond militarily if China used force against Taiwan. The Japanese government clarified that its official position has not changed, but the effects spread rapidly. Travel warnings from both countries soon emerged, and thousands of flights were cancelled, along with tour groups that were supposed to flock to tourist destinations. Reports indicate that at least 2 state-owned Chinese travel agencies have canceled group tours that were booked months ahead. One of those affected is the 45-year-old Gamagori Hotel in Aichi Prefecture, where thousands of bookings were suddenly canceled, causing worry among workers and concern for the country's tourism industry. The Gamagori Hotel is well known and is usually always full of tourists. However, on Saturday, its parking lot and lobby were nearly empty due to the flood of cancellation letters. According to hotel director Yoshiko Takeyoshi, the cancellations began last week, and in less than a week, they had already reached 2,000.
大体もう今週に入ってから突然キャンセルが始まりまして、もう本当1週間も経たないうちにもう一気に2000名分のキャンセルが発生したという状況です。
She added that even tour guides and bus drivers who regularly brought groups to the hotel have now lost their jobs.
バスの運転手さんももう仕事なくなっちゃったって言って嘆いて帰っていかれたり、そういう姿を見てるとすごい心苦しいなっていうのがあります。だからもう本当にできる限り耐え忍んで、またお客様が来ていただけるようになった時に万全の体制で挑めるようにその準備をしておこうっていう気持ちではあります。
Despite the severe blow to their business, hotel remains hopeful that tourism will eventually recover.
いつかは必ず仲良くなると思っています。何があったとしても、同じ人間ですし、私も中国に旅行に行くことありますし、それと同じで中国の方も日本に来たいと思っていただけたら、また旅行は再開していくものだと思っていますので、いずれかは誰がというわけではないんですけれども、まずは私たち個人がお互いに仲良くしていけば、今後は問題解決していくものだと思っています。
According to Trading Desk China, if Chinese travelers continue to steer clear of Japan through 2025, the total losses could reach up to $9 billion as political tensions escalate. Businesses that rely on tourism continue to worry. Many hope that relations will improve and that the industry will be able to recover. Reporting for Newsline World, Almar Forswalo, SMNI News.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has urged Japan to reflect on and correct its mistakes over Taiwan, warning that continued missteps could prompt the international community to review Japan's historical actions and prevent the resurgence of militarism. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has urged Japan to reflect on and correct its mistakes instead of continuing down the wrong path, following several controversial statements by Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi over Taiwan. According to Wang, the Chinese people love peace and maintain friendly relations with their neighbors, but they will never compromise on matters and sovereignty and territorial integrity. Wang also pointed out that Japan, as a defeated country in World War II, has an obligation to respect agreements on Taiwan and not violate the post-war settlements. He emphasized that Japan should act with caution and respect for history. Wang added that if Japan continues on the wrong path, the international community has both the right and responsibility to review Japan's historical crimes and prevent the resurgence of Japanese militarism. Hundreds of supporters gathered in Tegucigalpa for the final campaign rally of National Party's presidential candidates who urged voters to cast their ballots early and protect them ahead of the critical November 30 elections. Joy Tabanao tells us more.
Hundreds of people gathered in Tegucigalpa, Honduras on Saturday for the final campaign rally to show support for the National Party's presidential candidate, Nazri Tito Asfura, ahead of the November 30 election. Asfura urged his supporters to vote early and carefully guard their ballots, saying that their voices and eyes hold power. Crowds were seen singing, cheering, and waving Honduran and party flags throughout the event. Recent surveys reported place Asfura in second place, behind Salvador Nasrallah of the Liberal Party. Around 6.5 million Hondurans are eligible to vote in the election, which will choose a new president, 128 members of the National Congress, 20 deputies to the Central American Parliament, and various local officials. The November 30 election is critical for Honduras' future, and citizens continue to closely monitor the campaigns of the candidates. Joy Tabanao, your citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
Up next, from Washington, Trump says his 28-point proposal to end the war is not his final offer, adding that Zelensky can continue to fight if no agreement is struck. And back in the Philippines, pressure mounts as calls intensify for President Bongbong Marcos Jr. to undergo a hair follicle drug test. This comes amid growing public scrutiny over suspects in the flood control anomaly. More news when Newsline World returns.
Isang pindot lang, pwede kang maka-jackpot. Mukhang masaya at easy money lang. Sa murang halaga, pwede ka na tumaya sa online gambling at e-casino apps. Mayroong sabong, slot machines, mahjong, poker at iba pa. Kailangan mo lang ng smartphone, e-wallet at internet. Pero ang aliw na ito, unti-unting nagiging bitag para sa mga Pilipino. Lalo na kung ang paborito mong artista o influencer ang mukha ng app. Mas madaling makaengganyo, diba? Parang safe naman kasi may kilalang mukha. Pero sa likod ng ngiti, sugal pa rin ang itinutulak. At syempre, mas madali ring itago ang pagkalulong sa bisyong ito. Walang pisikal na kasino o paswalan, walang kaharap, walang accountability, kaya't mas lumalala ang adiksyon. Dagdag pa rito, maraming online gambling apps at walang regulasyon. Sa likod ng mga makukulay na interface at papremyo, nakatago ang problemang bumabalot ngayon sa bansa. Ang pagkalulong ng maraming Pilipino sa online gambling. Pwede maglaro kahit saan, kahit kailan, kahit sino, bata man o matanda, pwedeng malulong. Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang pagkakalulong sa online gambling ay nagdudulot ng matinding stress at anxiety, pagkakabaon sa utang, pagkawasak ng pamilya, pagkawala ng tiwala sa sarili. At tulad ng ibang bisyo, may mga senyales ito tulad ng hindi makapagpigil kahit walang pera, palihim na tumataya, pagpapabaya sa trabaho, pamilya o sarili. Sa bawat taya, may mga taong tunay na kumikita, mga malalaking negosyante at investors na negosyo ang bisyo ng masa. Para sa kanila, perang pumapasok lang ito. Pero para sa ordinaryong Pilipino, kabuhayan at relasyon ang nauubos. At ang masakit, tila matagal itong nahayaan. Hindi ito naging prioridad ng mga nakaupo sa taas hanggang sa sobrang lumala at halos naapektuhan na ang buong komunidad. Ngayon, sa dami ng nalulung at sa laki ng pinsalang naidulot, sa kapalalong umugong ang mga panukalang batas para higpitan ng online gambling, gaya ng pagbabawal sa paggamit ng e-wallets para tumaya, pagtaas ng minimum bet, mas mahigpit na identity verification, pag-block ng mga illegal na gambling sites, at bawasan o ipagbawal ang mga ads na target ang kabataan. Maaari itong magmukhang laro lang, pero sa katotohanan, isa itong sugal sa kinabukasan. Ang kita na dapat sa mga pangunahing pangangailangan o ipon na uubos sa sugal. At sa mundo ng online gambling, mas madali kang matalo kaysa manalo. Huwag hayaang sugal ang magdikta sa iyong buhay. Isang paalala mula sa SMNI.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump says his controversial 28-point peace proposal for Ukraine is still negotiable, but warns that Vladimir Zelensky can continue to fight his little heart out if deal isn't reached. President Donald Trump told reporters in Washington that his 28-point framework to end the war in Ukraine is not his final offer, saying peace should have happened a long time ago. But he also issued a pointed remark toward Ukraine's president, saying that Zelensky can continue to fight his little heart out in case a deal could not be finalized.
Your final offer to Ukraine?
No, not my.
Sir, do you still plan? Sir, do you still plan?
No, we'd like to get the peace. It should have happened a long time ago. The Ukraine war with Russia should have never happened. Then he can continue to fight his little heart out.
The Kremlin has offered little reaction so far. Spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said Russia had nothing to and beyond what was discussed at the recent Anchorage meeting between Trump and President Vladimir Putin. Putin later confirmed he has received their proposal and that Moscow is ready for peace talks, but only with substantive discussion of all details. Reporters say Trump has informally set Thanksgiving Day, November 27, as the deadline for Ukraine to make a decision on the plan. The calls for President Bongbong Marcos Jr. to undergo a hair follicle test are intensifying amid the palace's continued refusal to heed that challenge. Daniela Polita reports.
The alleged drug issue being hurled at President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. has resurfaced following the peace rally held on November 17. This comes after the statement of the president's sister, Senator Amy Marcos, regarding the president's supposed use of illegal drugs. It will be recalled that this allegation first made noise in 2024 when former President Rodrigo Duterte revealed that PBBM was supposedly included in the PIDEA drug watch list. This was later followed by the controversial Polvoron video. Now, after Senator Amy's remarks, calls have once again intensified for the president to undergo a hair follicle drug test to finally settle the issue. According to the former Executive Secretary Attorney Vic Rodriguez, there is only one way to give the public clarity regarding the allegation.
Now, if the Marcos Jr. administration is very confident, then why not undergo an open, fair, transparent, and credible hair follicle drug test?
Retired General Virgilio Garcia also agreed, stressing that the president has an obligation to inform the public about the true state of his health if there are issues concerning his mental capacity to perform his duties.
Under the Constitution, the president must comply with yung kanyang obligation of informing the people of his true mental condition because of prolonged use of drugs.
Even Vice President Sara Duterte has stated that no government official, especially the president or vice president, should refuse to undergo any drug test if necessary. Article 7, Section 12 of the Constitution provides that if the president has a serious illness, the public must be informed of the true condition of his health. Despite this, the palace remains firm in its position that the president will not undergo a drug test. According to Palace Press Officer Claire Castro, the president is clean and will not give in to any pressure urging him to take a drug test. Reporting for Newsline World, Daniela Paulita, SMNI News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. issued a warning to anyone harboring or helping the suspects over anomalies in flood control projects. With regards to this issue, he reported that some individuals with warrants of arrest in connection with the said anomaly are now in the custody of authorities. Breslin Catarong reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. provided an update regarding the arrest of individuals with warrants issued by the Sandigan Bayan related to anomalies in flood control projects. The mugshots of the primary suspects already apprehended have been released, while intensified operations continue to hold all responsible parties accountable. In a video message released on Monday morning, November 24, Marcos Jr. said that 7 of those with warrants of arrest linked to the flood control anomaly are now in the custody of authorities. Of that number, 1 accused was arrested by the National Bureau of Investigation, while 6 voluntarily surrendered to the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. He added that 2 more suspects have expressed willingness to surrender, while 7 remain at large, including former Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldi Co. The president warned that anyone harboring or aiding the remaining suspects may also be held liable if they refuse to surrender those wanted by the law.
Yung isa pong nahuli ng NBI ay natagpuan doon hindi sa kanyang sariling tirahan. Kaya't mananagot din yung mga nagtatago sa kanila. At kaya't sinasabi natin, yung mga may balak na tulungan itong mga ito, ay ang pinakamalaking tulong na ibigay ninyo sa kanila ay mag-surrender na sila. At para makasagot na sila dito sa mga aligasyon na hinaharap nila.
Marcos Jr. emphasized that no special treatment is being given to those arrested and that they will remain in NBI custody while awaiting court orders. The president also called on the remaining accused to voluntarily surrender and face the allegations against them instead of waiting for authorities to track them down.
Muli, sa 3 warrant at 16 na pangalan, 7 na ang hawak ng ating otoridad. 2 susuko na. 7 ang mananatiling at large at kasama na dyan si Saldico. Sa lahat ng natitirang akusado, ang aking payo sa inyo ay sumuko na kayo. Huwag nyo nang antayin na habul-habulin pa kayo.
Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Cresceline Catarong, SMNI News.
Various international airlines moved to suspend flights to and from Venezuela after the U.S. warned of a potentially hazardous situation over Venezuelan airspace. International airlines halted their flights to and from Venezuela on Saturday. This includes Portugal's TAP, Chile's LATAM, Colombia's Avianca, Spain's Iberia, and Brazil's GOL. The move follows a warning from the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration last Friday, which cited a potentially hazardous situation in Venezuelan airspace and urged airlines to exercise caution. According to reports, several U.S. officials said the country is prepared to launch a new round of actions against Venezuela in the coming days. In response, Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez said that the increasing pressure from the United States on Venezuela present a significant challenge of unforeseen dimensions to peace and security in the Caribbean region. When we return, at the G20, world leaders wrap up 2 days of high-level talks in South Africa, reaffirming their commitment to multilateral cooperation. And in the world of sports, England rugby survives a late surge from Argentina at Twickenham, securing an 11th straight win and capping off a perfect 4-test autumn run. More news after the break.
Madalas ka bang napapasobra sa pag-scroll sa phone mo kahit puro masasamang balita ang nakikita mo? Isipin mo ito. Nakahiga ka na sa kama, nagche-check lang ng phone bago matulog. Tapos, hindi mo na malayan, ilang oras ka na palang nagbabasa at nanonood ng mga balita tungkol sa digmaan, sakuna, politika, at lahat ng masasamang nangyayari sa mundo. Nakakaramdam ka na ng kaba at pagod, pero tuloy mo pa rin ang scroll mo. Ang tawag dyan ay doom scrolling. Ito ang habit ng paulit-ulit na pagtingin sa mga negatibo o nakaka-depress na content tulad ng digmaan, krimen o problema sa mundo. Nakaka-stress pero hindi mo pa rin mapigilan. Ayon sa isang pag-aaral ng Texas Tech University, ang sobrang konsumo ng masasamang balita ay nauugnay sa pagtaas ng stress, anxiety at pisikal na sintomas gaya ng pagkapagod at sakit ng ulo. Ayon naman sa Harvard Health, ang doom scrolling ay nagpapataas ng fight or flight hormones tulad ng cortisol at adrenaline na nakakapagpabigat ng isip at katawan. Nakakaapekto ito sa iyong mood, tulog at maging sa mental at physical health mo. At kapag naman puro memes at random na content ang pinapanood mo ng sunod-sunod hanggang sa mawalan ka na ng gana na mag-isip at gumawa ng iba pang gawain, ang tawag naman diyan ay brain rot. Sa Gen Z at tinatawag na internet culture, ang brain rot ay overconsumption o sobrang tagal na panonood ng paulit-ulit, mababaw, magulo o walang saysay na content online hanggang sa parang manhid na ang utak mo. Kapag nasobrahan, syempre, nakakasama. Nawawalan ka na ng focus, nawawala ang motivation, hirap mag-isip ng malalim, parang lutang o foggy ang utak. Masaya sa simula, pero kapag sobra, napapagod ang isip mo. Nahihirapang mag-concentrate at parang lutang. Mas delikado pa ito sa mga bata. dahil ang utak nila ay nasa proseso pa ng pagdevelop. Kaya mas malakas ang epekto ng doom scrolling at brain rot sa kanila. Maaaring makaapekto sa pag-aaral, pag-iisip at pakikitungo sa iba. Ang higit sa 4 na oras ng screen time araw-araw sa mga kabataan ay konektado sa 35 to 88% na mas mataas na posibilidad ng depresyon, anxiety at stress. Base ito sa isang malawakang pag-aaral sa Brazil. Kaya, maging balanse. Magpahinga sa screen, magbasa, makipagkwentuhan, magdasal, maging present lagi. Alagaan ang iyong isipan. Kung anong itinatanim sa isipan mo, yun ang lalago.
For sports update, England rugby held their nerve in a tense finish at Twickenham, pulling off a hard-fought victory over Argentina to complete a perfect 4-test autumn run. Meanwhile, Thailand's Atthaya Thitikul closed out the season in spectacular fashion, defending her LPGA Tour Championship crown. More on this from Carlo de la Peña.
England's win was anything but simple. Their attack faltered at moments, the penalties stacked up, and Argentina charged back with 13 unanswered points to open the second half. A late Pumas try even forced a tense final sequence that saw them come within meters of stealing the match. Yet England held firm. The result secured their 11th consecutive victory, their longest run since the early 2000s, and showed just how much they've grown in handling high-pressure situations. Max Ojomo was one of the evening's biggest positives. Called into the side following late injuries, he impressed with his sharp footwork, well-placed kicks, and composed passing, earning him Player of the Match honors. Several rising talents also stood out. Alex Coles delivered powerful carries and produced a crucial late break, while flanker Guy Pepper continued his strong autumn with another reliable performance. Although England still struggled with consistency in attack, defensive structure, and discipline, their growing depth has become one of their strengths. The team is still fine-tuning its midfield combinations as they build toward tougher challenges ahead, most notably a significant Six Nations clash away to France. For now, the momentum is clearly on their side. After enduring a difficult 2024, England are showing in 2025 that they can grind out victories even when the margins are razor-thin. Meanwhile, Atthaya Thitikul capped off another outstanding week at Tiburon Golf Club, parting a 4-render 68 to finish the LPGA season finale at 26 under. The 22-year-old not only claimed the $4 million top prize, but also secured the LPGA Player of the Year honor and the varied trophy for the lowest scoring average of the season. The victory puts her in rare company as Thitikul becomes only the second golfer in LPGA history to win the Tour Championship in consecutive years, matching the back-to-back titles of South Korea's Ko Jin-young in 2020 and 2021. Her triumph was particularly meaningful given the uncertainty she faced just a week earlier due to a wrist injury. Thitikul said the course gives her really good energy and credited a calm, pressure-free mindset for helping her perform at her best. Starting the final round with a 6-shot lead, Thitikul was tested early as fellow Thai star Pajari Ananarukan surged with birdies on holes 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7, narrowing the gap to 2. But Thitikul steadied herself on a back 9. A key birdie rebuilt on her cushion to 5 shots, and when Pajari dropped a stroke on the par 3 12th, Thitikul responded immediately with another birdie at the 13th to reach 25 under. Pajari made a late push with birdies at 16 and 17, but Thitikul secured her championship in emphatic fashion by sinking a final birdie on the 18th. England's Lottie Wood and Charlie Hull both turned in solid performances, finishing at 11 under to headline the top international challengers. With her commanding win, major prize haul, and season-long accolades, Thitikul continues to solidify her place as one of the brightest rising stars in women's golf. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
Jennifer Lopez set Udiper ablaze with star power as she touched down for the lavished wedding of Netra Mantena and Vamshi Sadirahu, delivering a full concert-style performance that instantly went viral across social media. Stella Maurice for the latest updates.
Jennifer Lopez arrived in Udaipur over the weekend for the grand wedding festivities of Netra Mantena and Vamsi Gadiraju, an event attended by global celebrities and Bollywood A-listers. Upon landing, Lopez waved warmly to a waiting paparazzi, even blowing flying kisses, though some mistakenly shouted, "Welcome to India, Rihanna," causing a lighthearted moment that quickly made headlines. The 56-year-old turned heads when she stepped into the celebrations wearing a blush pink, custom-embroidered Manish Malhotra sari paired with striking emerald jewelry. Fashion watchers praised the look as one of her most memorable East meets West style moments. Ahead of her appearance, rehearsal clips of Lopez practicing her hit on the floor with dancers began circulating online, building anticipation for what was to come. When performance night arrived, J-Lo did not disappoint. She delivered a high-energy medley of her biggest hits, including Waiting for Tonight, Get on the Floor, Play, Get Right, Save Me Tonight, and Ain't Your Mama. The set featured full choreography, stage props, and multiple extravagant costume changes, transforming the wedding into a full concert experience. To close her show, Lopez raised a toast to the families, marking both a heartfelt and glamorous finale to her first ever performance in India. The wedding itself, spread across Udaipur's most iconic venues, continued to capture global attention, with stars like Justin Bieber, Janveer Singh, Janvi Kapoor, Shahid Kapoor, and more joining the celebrations. This is Stella Maurice, your citizen correspondent, bringing you the latest showbuzz.
And before we end, may be inspired with the words of the song. No matter who you are, or whatever your circumstances in life, there are always things to be grateful for. And for our Christmas countdown, only 31 days to go before Christmas. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God in my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Prince Tripoli. Thanks for watching and goodbye.